to talk about setting up root domains. So first of all, what is a root domain? It is just something.com. That's the root domain right here. It is not something.something.com, for example, www.something.com. That is what we call a subdomain. We've got a separate video on setting up subdomains. Today we're focusing on setting up the root domain, which most typically is for somebody's website. So in our case today, we're going to set up this domain here, highleveltest.com, and we're going to be using GoDaddy to do that. So let's say I've got this website here, my agency template that I want to send live at highleveltest.com, that root domain. So how we do that is 4 simple steps. First thing that we do is we create the new domain. So we're going to go to Settings, Domains. We're going to click Add a new domain. And here we're going to paste our domain so that we make sure we spell it correctly. And because we are setting up a root domain, we need an A record. So the A record is right here, and it's always going to point to an IP address, which we'll give you right here. So I'm going to take that IP address, and we're going to go create this A record, step number 2. Now, if you're using GoDaddy, you might already have an A record that is pointing to somewhere like this, parked. So you can either edit this one and change to where it points, or you can create a new one. So let's say you don't see that there. You would just add a record, select A. The host is going to be the @ symbol, which indicates the root, and you're going to paste the IP address there. And you can turn the TTL down to try to make it propagate a little faster. So go ahead and hit save. Now if we bounce back to our instructions, the next thing that you're going to do is select the funnel or website. So in order to do that, we have to wait until that A record propagates and until High Level can see it. So we're going to hit add, and that happened really fast. So you might get an error and you might have to hit it a couple of times and wait a couple of minutes. But once it sees the record, it will propagate, and now we can do step number 3, which is select the funnel or the website that you want the domain to point to. So we had said we're going to use agency template, that was it. Okay, so I select that, I hit link, and now this is the step that most people miss. Step number 4. You need to click the edit pencil and then select the home page of whatever funnel or website you chose. So we're going to hit the edit pencil here, and now I have to tell it, okay, which of the pages is the home page. And so typically it'll be the top page here. That's the page that I want, so I'll hit save. And now if I go over back to my website and I hit the settings tab, we can see that the domain is set. So if I go to highleveltest.com, this might take a minute the first time because it's building the SSL certificate on the back end, so we take care of that for you. But once that SSL certificate is built, you should see the site load up, and there we go. Now it's live on my highleveltest.com. So that's how we set up the root domain. Now you might also want to set up the www subdomain. And so to do that, we would repeat the steps, but instead of creating an A record, we would create a CNAME. So we would come back here and we would go back to domains. We would add another one for www.highleveltest.com. And now if we're adding a subdomain, instead of an A record and an IP address, we use a CNAME to a URL. So we would copy this here. We would take it back over to our DNS. And we're going to, again, look to see if you already have a CNAME pointing to www or for www. I don't, so I'm going to add a new one. So we'd add CNAME. The host is www, and it points to this URL that I copied. Again, I would turn that down, hit save. Again, I'm going to come back here and wait for it to propagate. So you see it's trying to find it. I can't find it yet. Now it found it. Again, I would select the same website, link it, and then again I come back to the pencil and I tell it, and I tell it which page I want it to point to. Now I should be able to go to the www version. Okay, so that just loaded up, and now we can see it's resolving at the www and the non-www. There we go. And so then I might want to go set up some domain forwarding, and we have help docs on that. That's how you set up a root domain as opposed to a subdomain. In this